Hello, everybody. My name is Lina Yousafi, and I'm a family lawyer and the founder of Y Law Group. Today, I was inspired to provide 5 tips on how to resolve your child custody matter or parenting time, as we say in British Columbia. These tips apply, I would say, to every couple out there in the world who are trying to figure out what the fate of their children is going to be after separation. Most relationships end because of some sort of a betrayal, such as financial, such as emotional, such as physical betrayal. So um, the person who's separating feels violated and feels betrayed, and they're trying to protect not just themselves but mostly their children. So what happens is that we get a lot of inquiries from parents saying that I am lost and I'm confused and I'm trying to protect my child. We get that more than anything else. All parents want to protect their children, and all parents want the best for their children. But because of breakup, your vision of what may be in the best interest of your child can be very, very much either blinded or skewed or emotional. And I come across many parents um, who lose their path, who start thinking that they should be for example, the full custodian of the kids because their ex is just such a horrible person, or that it is better for their kids to be with them because they can provide the security and stability that the other parent may not. Another very common inquiry that we get is generally from mothers saying, we've taken care of our children during our entire marriage and we want to continue taking care of the children, and we want the father to have visitation rights, and that's what needs to happen as we go along during separation. Unfortunately, as much as I can understand where these concerns come from, the reality of family law and children are very, very different. So in this video blog, I want to tell you about 5 tips regarding how to resolve your child custody matter. I have gained understanding of children and custody and what really works with respect to separation and the children through practicing a decade of family law and doing many, many custody cases in court, in mediation, in many, many different venues. So what I'm about to tell you are a product of my experience and my knowledge regarding how to resolve your custody matter. The first and most important tip is that you have to understand that children are not your property. And I know that's easier. You can say, well, of course they're not, but really, really understand that they're not. So when a parent comes to me and say, I've been the primary parent, therefore I want to continue being the primary parent, they're talking about what they want, not what the kids want. So the first important thing is that you need to literally put yourself in your child's place and look at the world through your child's mind. You may think that you're a better parent than the other parent, but does your child love both of you equally? Does your child want to be around both of you equally? And if that's the answer, and that's what your child wants, then why not? So you have to understand that children have their own rights. They're their own people. And what's to their best interest may not be what's to your best interest. So you have to focus on what they want. The second thing is, which a lot of people assume, is that if their ex has a mental problem, then therefore the ex is not allowed or should have less time with the children. Throughout years of litigating and talking to various experts, including registered psychologists, I have come to understand that a parent having a mental problem does not make them a bad parent. Parents who are depressed can be exceptional parents. Parents who suffer from anxiety can be fantastic parents. The biggest complaint that we get from a lot of people is they say, my ex abused me, or my ex is a narcissist, or my ex is depressed, and therefore they can't be a good parent. You could be a narcissist and you could still be a great parent. So there's a lot of confusion in some parents' thinking because they lived in an abusive relationship or they suffered by dealing with a narcissist. Therefore, their children shouldn't either. Somebody who was a narcissist towards you may be very different towards their own child. So just because somebody was abusive towards you does not mean they get to lose their child. It's not that simple. This is not saying that people who are abusive or are narcissists are always entitled to have equal or more time with children. This is to say that you need to establish a nexus. You need to show that narcissism is harming your child in a measurable way. So you can't just say he's a bad guy, therefore he's a bad parent. You have to show, and this is difficult to do, that somebody who abused you also abused your children, or was a narcissist towards your children as well. And in most cases, that hasn't really been successful. So abuse is usually extreme abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse of children, and most parents, as far as I know, are loving to their children, even if they're not loving to each other. The third thing that you need to remember, especially when you're going through litigation, is not to focus on what makes your ex a bad parent. If your ex did a good job at parenting in some aspects, make sure you make that known. So if you only say negative things about your ex during a custody litigation, that only points to one direction, that you are vengeful and you want them to lose. That will show the judge that you don't have the best interests of your child in mind, because there's not one thing good that you can say about the other parent. You married or had a child with that parent for a reason. That's because you saw good things in them. So you could come up with at least one good thing. And if you do, you're going to get a lot more credibility in the judge's eye or in the mediator's eye that you're being decent and rational and level-headed, and you're putting your feelings to the side to act in the best interest of your child. The fourth point is, and this is very difficult to do, but believe me, it's good. You should not have a mindset of winning or losing. You should not question, what can I win in this situation? You should not think that, getting 60% of the time with your child is a win because you didn't get 50%. That's all BS. This concept of 50-50 is really a power struggle between parents. When somebody says, I want 50-50, it's them saying that I'm just as powerful as the other one. And when a parent says, I want 100% custody, that's them saying that I want more power than the other parent. Put that to the side. Perhaps think about how much you can lose for the sake of your children. If you're caught up in a war with the other parent, how much do you think your children are losing because of that war? I'm a parent myself, and sometimes when my husband and I are having an argument, I can literally feel that tense negative energy being transferred to my child, so I stop. But in a situation when you're separating and you're entangled in war, in a custody battle, in court litigation, how much do you think your kids are going to suffer? Versus if you just made a compromise and then you had a collaborative, amicable relationship with the other parent, you may get less time with your kids, but you will get healthy time with your kids, and your kids will always appreciate that. And when you lose and when you give up, there's a much higher chance of cooperating and giving concessions by both parents. But when you're always thinking about winning and getting more time from the other parent, what do you think is going to happen in the long term? The last and perhaps the most important thing most important tip I can give to parents who are involved in custody battles or having disagreements regarding what's best for their children is, please do not think that going to court and litigating is going to resolve your problem. Do not think that the judge is going to be your hero. Do not think, I'm going to let the judge decide. Do not say that I want somebody to make a decision regarding who was right and who was wrong. You are the parent. You get to decide with the other parent. A judge who is a stranger has no idea who you are or the other parent. They might get maybe 5 to 10 days max in most cases to get to know you and your child and your ex. Do you think someone knowing you and your children for 5 to 10 days is in a better position to determine what needs to happen to their future than you and the other parent are? So please mediate, negotiate, communicate, speak, and make decisions together as much as you can. I understand that there are some cases where you have to go to court and things are black and white. I get it. But please try to avoid going to court until there's no other choice. So usually I say to myself, it's impossible to go to court. I have to get this settled. And it's only when I feel like there's no other way that I advise my client to go to court. So please do that for yourself. I will be doing more blogs on child custody, but I hope that you find this blog informative because believe it or not, if you're going through separation and custody, many things that you're feeling are normal. Many things that you're going through are common. I hear about them all the time, so I'm here to share the knowledge that I've gained by dealing with people just like you. Have a nice day and check out our blog at ylaw.ca. We have tons of information on child custody and parenting time. And if you have any questions, please give us a call at 604-974-9529.